Hi friends, I'm Yakuta Karkhanawala and today we are going to see the new topic control structures in C programming language. Okay, now let's understand what is control structures. Control structures means it is used to specify the flow of control of a program and in which order the statements should be executed in a C programming language. So there are basically three methods of changing the flow of control of a program. First is sequential program, which is a very basic control structures where all the statements or the modules you can say are executed in sequence. That is, after A, B would be executed, after B, the C would be executed. Means in sequence, all the statements are executed. That is known as sequential programming structure which we have seen in the printf scanf, where one by one all the statements inside main was executed in sequence. Next one is conditional statements. Conditional statements means you check for a condition in a program. The output of the condition would be either true or false. If the condition is true, that is yes, then you execute the module A. If the condition is false, then you execute module B. Okay, so module A would not be executed if the condition is false and module B would not be executed if the condition is true. So either one of the module would be executed depending on the condition. So here we are changing the flow of the program as per the condition which we have mentioned in the box. The third one is iterative, or you can say looping methods. Iterative means check for the condition. If the condition is true, execute the module or the statements, group of statements. Later on, again go back and check for the next condition. If this condition is true, go on executing the module. But anytime if the condition becomes false or it is no, then you have come out of this particular statement. So this is iterative statements, means you are executing this part again and again in a loop until the condition becomes false. If it is false, then you come out of this particular statement. Now let's understand what are the different statements available in C for this type of control structures. But for conditional and iterative statements, we have a specific statements in C program. So for conditional, we have if statement and switch statement. So there are two types of conditional statements in C program, if and switch. For iterative or looping methods, we have four different methods. One is while, do while, for, and fourth one is go to statements. So these are three very important part of iterative statements: while, do while, and for loop. Go to, you should try to avoid using go to because of its own complication, which we'll see later. So we'll start today with if statements. The first one, which is if statements. So if statements, again it is divided into four types: simple if else, nested if, and ladder if. So there are four categories of writing if statements. We'll see one by one each of this. The first one is simple if statement. Simple if statements means checking for the condition. If the condition is true, then this part is executed, that is conditional code. And if it is false, then you come out of the block. How you are going to write down the simple if statement? The syntax of writing a simple if statement means if, all in small letters, inside bracket you can have a condition using any relational operator, or you can have a mathematical expression. If there is any output, it is considered as true. But if you have an output value is equal to 0, means it would be considered as false. And you can have a variable name also here in this. Most oftenly which we use in if statement is the condition. So if the condition is true, whatever you have written within this braces would be executed. There can be more than one line of code which you want to execute if the condition is true, or you can say it is 1. So how you are going to write down if statement? If statement, all characters in small letters. Then inside the bracket you place some condition. What is the condition that I have mentioned is a modulo 2. Okay, I am doing some arithmetic operations, that is I am finding out the remainder if I divide a by 2. And then I'm checking using relational operator. Equal is a relational operator, that I'm checking that whether the remainder is equal to 0 or not. If this condition is true, then the printf statement inside the braces will be executed, that is A is an even number. But if the condition is false, I'll come out of the if statement. Okay, let's understand this with a simple C program. in Dev C++. So this is my Dev C++, where I'm going to write down my program. I'm making a new file, hash include stdio.h, void main, the braces. Now first I'll take a variable a which is of integer data type. I want to enter some value inside this a. So what I'll do is I'll use scanf. Before that I'm entering a statement, enter value of a, which would be displayed as it is onto the screen. Then I have scanf to enter the value inside a, as we have seen in the previous video. Okay, scanf function. So I'll get some value inside this A. Now I want to test whether the value of A inside A is even or not. So I'll use the conditional statement if. What is my condition? A modulo 2 equal 0. Taking the remainder by dividing A by 2 and comparing it with 0. If this condition is true, you can have a braces. If the condition is true, what I want is I want to display a message that A is even number. After my printf statement, I am simply writing end, a simple statement. Okay, so this is all complete program. Enter the value of A using scanf. I've entered some value inside A. Then I'm checking this condition. If the condition is true, A is even number is printed. If it is false, then I'll come out and only end would be printed. Let's save this file. So if is my name of the file, C source file, save it. So compile your program. There are no errors, no warnings. Then execute, run, enter value of A because of the printf statement. I am entering the value 5. Going to check the condition. 5 modulo 2 that is 1. 1 equal 0 is false. Since it is false, I should get the output end. So end is displayed onto the screen. Now if I run the program again, and now I am entering 4. So for 4 modulo 2, that is the remainder which I'll get after dividing 4 by 2 would be 0. 0 equal 0. That is true. So if it is true, then A is even number is displayed, and after that it will come out of the if statement, and also will also be printed on the screen. So I'll get two out. A is even number and end. See, both of them are in one single line. If I want to have these two statements in two different lines, what I'll do is simply put slash n. Sorry, I compile a program first, then run the program, enter the value of A, that is 4, enter. So A is even number, and the next line end is printed. So if the condition is true, this line is printed, and afterwards it will come out of the if block and end will be printed. So this was all about if statements. Remember the syntax of the if statements and how to use an if statement, simple if statement.